Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this straight pencil skirt with flounce at the side. So if this is something you're interested in, stay with me to the end because we're going to be having a fun right now. So first of all, I'm going to be folding my fabric into 4 places like this because it's going to help me to cut my pattern at once. So I'll be folding it according to my biggest measurement. Now I'm going to place my tape on the fabric. I'm removing 1.5 inches for my band allowance and my skirt length is 25. So I'm just going to measure the 25 plus 1 inch for folding allowance, which makes it 26, and cut it out. Now after cutting it out, this is what I'm going to be working with. From my waist, I'm going to measure my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. Then at my hips, to get my hip line, I'm just going to come down. Remember the 1.5 inches that I'm leaving for my band. So I'm just going to come down and measure my hip line, which is 8 inches. Then at my hip line, I'm going to measure my hips divided by 4 plus 1.5. Then anything I use for my hip, I'm going to minus half from it and use it as the length of my skirt, after which I'm just going to connect all the lines together and make sure it's natural. Then now for the back, I'm going to do something I call butt contouring. It just helps me to bring out the shape of the butt better. So at the waist of my back, I'm going to be coming out by half inches for my zip allowance. At my hip line, I'll come out by 1 inches. The extra half inches there is for my butt allowance. Then at the hem, I'm going to be adding slit at the back, and my slit is about 6 inches. So I'm going to go up by 6 inches, and then what I'll be using to fold the slit is 1 inches, which is going to make me add an extra 1 inch. So I'll be measuring 2 inches. Then at that point where my slit is starting from, I'm just going to add half inch here just to contour the butt. So I'm just going to connect all the lines together. That is from my skirt length to my half length, that is my butt, and then to my waistline. You can see how beautiful the shape is. So now you're going to watch me carefully as I cut out my fabric. You can see I'm not cutting directly on the line, I'm cutting outside the lines I made. This is the fabric I'm going to be using for the flounce at the side. I've gone ahead to cut it out. As you can see, make sure this length of the flounce is 2 times longer than your skirt length, or at least 20 times longer than your skirt length. So the width I used is 4 inches. I've also gone ahead to fold it and I ran a gather stitch straight. So that is what I'm dragging now. I'm going to drag it until I'm sure it is the same length with my skirt. As you can see, I'm going to do it for the first piece, that is for the first side, and I'm also going to do it for the second piece, that is for the second side. After drawing the gathers, I'm just simply going to pick up the front piece of my fabric, and then I'm going to be trimming off all these rough edges as the hem. So after picking up my fabric, I just want to make sure I'm placing it on the right face. So I'm going to take my tape. Remember, I remove 1.5 inches for the hem allowance, the sewing allowance. So I'm just going to mark 1.5 straight down and then connect in a straight line up. you can see that 1.5 inches up, like that. So after drawing this line is to guide me in the placement of my flounce. So I'm going to make sure I place it right side facing the right side. As you can see, the right side have to be facing the right side, and then I'll pin it down. Now when I'm going to be sewing, I'm not going to sew exactly on that 1.5 inches allowance. I'll be sewing behind it. As you can see, I'm done sewing it. I didn't sew exactly on the 1.5. I sew like half inches behind it. You can sew like 1 inches behind it if you like. So this is what it looks like when I was done sewing it. I'm just going to place the back piece on the front piece now. So after placing the back piece, I'm going to pin it down and secure it, and then measure my sewing allowance, which is 1.5 inches round, like this. After measuring my sewing allowance, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and sew it down on both sides, straight down. So after sewing it, this is what it looks like. You can see my skirt is already coming out, and you can see how the flounce looks. So now I want to put my band. I'm going to measure my waist round, that is the length of the waist, the width of the waist. Now I'm going to pick my belt. Now I'm using a darker piece of fabric for the belt because I want my waist to appear slimmer than it is. That's why I'm using a darker piece, and also because of course my fabric finished, and as the fashion designer that I am, I have to improvise. So this is me cutting because the first piece of belt I cut was not enough, so I have to join. So I'm just going to join it together and sew it in, just iron it down. Don't forget, my band is 1.5 inch. I'm going to be placing the band on the skirt with the right side facing the right side, and I'm just going to sew it down. So here I'm done sewing it, and this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to turn it to the back, and I'll be working on the center back now. So at the center back, I'm going to divide my waist measurement by 2. My waist is 26 divided by 2, that is 13. So I'm just going to place it at the waist, and I'm just going to measure it, and then so I'll be able to fix my zip. If you don't know how to fix a zip, check my video on how to fix the zip in the description below. So my zip, the allowance at the back is just going to be half inches down. So I'm done sewing it, and I'm done fixing. That is my zip allowance, which I'm going to be fixing my zip later on. I went ahead to open iron it. So for the final step, I'm just going to fold my slit allowance and my hem, and also don't forget to overlock your material. Thanks for watching, and if you know you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more videos like this.